after we leave from here, we start giving levels on the
I don't want to comment on any stocks, and you don't want to comment on any level.
So my next question, yeah, sorry, you are...
So next question
yeah, it's for Sanjay. I'm hosting it. Let me manage this. Let me take Sanjay next.
Your jobs are at risk, by the way. It's always at risk when he's our guest.
I'm enjoying this. Go ahead.
So Sanjay, do you agree with them? Do you think that the market is heading materially low in the near term, or do you think that we are at the bottom?
I think we're somewhere close to the bottom. I seriously think that this Modi-nomics that we're talking about, in the blink of an eyelid, right, in some time, and it's very difficult to be too precise about it, but I think the Modi-nomics is slowly turning into Modi momentum. The market doesn't seem to be realizing it. I think a lot of pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are being put into place. What the government has done is they have not taken the easy way out. They have tried to go deep into the structural issues which ail India. And the structural issues were probably all underappreciated by us. In the last 12 months, they have put a lot of building blocks into place. And as that starts playing out, I think you're going to see a much quicker turnaround at some point in time. And the markets are forward-looking. So there's no point in worrying about what is already happening now. So I would tend to remain
Sonia,
positive.
just for your information, because you listen to Sanjay, he doesn't come that often on television, unfortunately.
Once in a year.
At 9,000 index, he was bearish.
Okay. Which is a good thing to be.
And he was like, it's coming to 8,000, and we've got there. So he has got some track record, so I think we must believe him.
But just to be fair, both Nimesh and I said that there's little downside from here on. There's not much downside left, and it will move slightly lower before it moves higher. But Sanjay, I want to get you in on one more point on the earnings,
Yes, sure.
Because, I mean, at least we have not seen any concrete recovery in the earnings, whether it is in stocks like L&T, BHEL, whether it is in the, the technology names, etc. What is your own view on when the earnings cycle will bottom out?
It probably would take about a quarter or two. Okay. And the reason I'm not so worried about earnings is that the corporate profits to GDP, and Rhythm has obviously done a lot of more work on that, we are at an almost rock bottom. So the point out here is that they are not going to deteriorate any further. Right? Once it stops deteriorating, and we know that inflation has been brought under control, and the Indian fiscal balance sheet has never been in a better shape than it is right now, and the capex cycle will slowly start accelerating, I think it's just a matter of time. So I think 1-2 quarters, difficult to say how much, but not more than that. Definitely before the end of the year.
Okay. So the other on this point, I mean, I was the anchor, so you took over my job for a moment. But on this point on earnings, you interact with a lot of companies, right? And you're saying that the data from the companies is not encouraging. Do you remember a time in the last few years, and you've been doing this job for a while, that the companies foretold a turn in the earnings cycle? Did they tell you in advance that things are going to turn, and that they actually did so?
No, well, the only disappointment, I guess, Rhythm, is the fact that 6 months ago we thought 6 months later that things would turn convincingly.
Okay, but the companies were not telling you that.
Oh, the companies, some of them would, some of them wouldn't, but the broad base is that now companies are acknowledging the fact that things have not picked up as much. Earlier, they would still say, we're cautiously optimistic, the phrase that everyone uses, but in this quarter gone by, most people indicate that, things are not picked up just yet. But I think Lata also has a question. She's sitting in the studio, so she's itching to ask a question to both of you. So Lata, over to you.
No, I just want to make clear to Rhythm, he can't take my job. I am the anchor and I am going to ask him the questions. No way are we going to give you any answers. No, we don't give you the job. You are rejected, sir. You are rejected. You are not hired as anchor. I do the hiring. Okay, no, Rhythm, there is a segment of people who always told us, in fact, a broad swathe who told us that there is a lot of chatter and hope. There aren't actually orders on the books. So I agree with you that it's not as if corporate India always saw the good times coming or the bad times coming. I take that point. But now people are a little worried that they are selling less cement now than they sold even last year same time. I mean, this is the time when orders are supposed to have picked up. There is a fear that things have deteriorated, that recovering feeling is not across the board, especially in cement. What do you have to tell such people?
But Lata, I think, you track the macro better than most people do. And you know what the government did to the fisc towards the end of the fiscal year, right? I mean, they brought down expenditure levels in order to meet that fiscal target, exceeded that, but it cost the economy a lot. It was obviously conscious on part of the government, but that's feeding into cement sales, into steel sales, into almost everything in the macro. And for sure that's turning, because now we are in a new fiscal year, and fiscal expenditure is picking up, and for that reason I think it's fair to believe that you go 1 quarter out and a lot of this data will start looking better.
I'm inclined to believe that.